Hear you?
Yeah.
All right, that was it. And we are on and popping.
We're live.
We are live. Jesus.
Okay, that took a minute.
It did, but we got it together. That's all.
All right. Okay, so how you been?
I've been great. How have you been?
Oh, life be lifing.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Summertime lifing.
Oh, life be lifing.
Most definitely. We are on episode 3.
Family.
Yes.
I don't know if the people are ready today to talk about family. It's just such an emotional, touchy subject.
It is.
And it's hard to talk about it. And I was on my way here and I was thinking like, am I going to talk shit about my family today?
A little like
no. I was like, am I really going to? No, I feel like I have to be honest, right? Like in a nice way. But I was like,
truthful.
I think I may talk some shit for sure.
Well, talking shit is always good for the soul. Sometimes. So let's just get right into it. When we think about family, we think about love, we think about support, we think about, that's where you learn, your values at, that's where you build confidence at, but that don't look like that for everyone.
No.
Every family is different. We all know that. And I can say for myself, until I got older, I didn't realize that my family was a little dysfunctional.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was normal, because I would look here, I would look there. It would all kind of look similar. So I didn't know until I got older and started looking outward like, oh my gosh.
And when we say dysfunctional, right, it's like to a certain degree, nobody is perfect and no family is perfect. Everybody is going to have their own things behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
But there's a distinct difference between, these are just family challenges that families go through versus, no, this is real dysfunction. Like this wouldn't be normal in any household, actually.
Absolutely.
And it's hard because how do you separate yourself from that? How do you have a firm boundary in place to say, no, like family or not, I just cannot be that close to you. I can love you from afar.
I think a lot of that goes from, a lot of people accept and take a lot of things from people because it's family, because we was raised and we was brought up, oh, that's family, let it slide. It's like, just because it's family, that don't mean I have to tolerate disrespect.
Yeah.
That don't mean I have to tolerate neglect. That don't mean I have to tolerate the energy or the negativity that you pushing out just because it's my family. Absolutely. Now, what I cannot never do, regardless of what we go through, is I can't unfamily you. I can not be around you. I can, take myself out the situation at times. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about titles, it is family. But as I get older, I realize that, as much as I do love my family, and I do, that I be thinking to myself, is blood thicker than water? So
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. not if it's unhealthy.
Absolutely.
No, like not if it's to the detriment of your own mental health and sanity. Absolutely not. Because then you have people who've been friends where it's like, we're not blood related at all.
Absolutely.
But when it comes down to you,
yes.
Oh yeah, I'll burn the whole city down.
Absolutely.
If I need to. So no, I don't think blood. I think blood is thicker than water is a saying that people that probably know they full of shit.
Yeah.
And they just be like, oh, but it's it's family. No.
Yeah, and that's like one thing that I'm not going to pass down in my family that I have created is those traditions and those sayings, because it can get confusing, especially growing up if that's all you hear.
Absolutely.
I think that's the difference between growing up when we did back then and growing up now. We as parents are more like, look, you treat people how you get treated. You have to recognize when family is doing you wrong, whether it's your friend or family or not. We are teaching our kids that family is just not family, and just because it's family, it's okay, and you get to accept all this hurt and pain and all of this torment. I like that now that we as parents now, it's all like, look, you see that family member over there? You got to watch out. You have to
Oh, absolutely.
You have to be aware. We have to protect our children. We have to protect our, our youth, and we have to protect our family against family. And I know nobody wants to say it, but I'm going to say it. Family can become very toxic.
Well, not only toxic, a lot of people in your family can be straight up predators. Like,
absolutely.
Can be straight up
Yeah.
predators.
I think every family have a predator. Every family have a crazy person. Every family have an alcoholic. Every family have a some kind of offset dysfunction, and I feel like those people should not be at the family gathering. Period. And I also feel like those family secrets, and I get it, you can be private and nobody wants to blast out their family, but when it comes to your safety and protecting people that you love in your family, those secrets shouldn't just, like back in the day, no one talking about and sweeping the world. No, we need to know that this person is about this person like this person does this to protect, because so many people are taught that word family, it literally makes their brain cloudy to things.
Yeah, that's very true.
And that right there can be just devastating. It could be, that's how trauma starts. Trusting someone that, you're supposed to love, or trusting someone that claims or say they love you. And now you don't even know what trust look like for real. You don't even know what love look like for real.
No, you don't, because it's been violated by a family member.
Absolutely.
And when you look at the data, when you look at the statistics, most trauma, first of all, happens in your childhood. And second of all, it happens from someone in your family. Absolutely. It typically doesn't happen from someone who's a complete stranger. It's coming directly from your mother or your father. It's coming directly from a cousin, an uncle, an aunt. All of that grooming type stuff, all of that predator type stuff is happening within a family. And I agree with you. I completely go against, if we know somebody in the family is touching on kids or has touched on a kid, why are we still acting like this is normal behavior? Because, that's just uncle, that's just, and it's like, no, that's not just okay.
I think the reason why is because of embarrassment.
Right.
No one wants to say they uncle, they dad, they son, or they this, whatever the title is this type of person, because it becomes embarrassment. And it's like, it could be embarrassing, but guess what? It got to be awareness. We have to be aware of this. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be embarrassed and say, you know what? This person is over here. You may not want to bring your daughters. You may not want to bring your sons. You may want to hide your purse, whether it's a thief or a predator. We have people that steal in families. We have people that literally come and creep up and kill the vibe.
Yeah.
On purpose. And not only, people that is predators, I feel like those people shouldn't be invited to family events too. The people that don't know how to hold their liquor. The woman, the one that come in always angry, always negative. The ones that never bring nothing to the table.
But
not
like
the buns,
said,
not the Kool-Aid,
not
the
dog,
salad,
not a potato salad. They just show up with themselves. They just show up.
And I get it. We all fall on times, and we all can't do this, and we all can't do that. And I understand that. I can understand that. But never is a problem.
Never is a problem.
Sorry, guys.
Never is a problem, for sure.
Never is a problem. And that should not be accepted, because what it does is it teaches our younger generations, and it teaches the kids how to come and represent yourself, So I feel like family, we all have family generation curses that we cannot get away from, but we can. I feel like my goal, especially with my family that I created, is very important for me, is to make sure that those curses stop right there. It doesn't keep on going. And how we do that is with communication. And I feel like that's what's lacking in our community when it comes to family. It's communication. Everybody mad at this person or mad at that. You may be mad at something for 20 years because something that you thought, because you haven't got validation from, or you never had a real conversation with that person. So now you've been mad at this person for 20 years, holding this hurt and guilt for nothing. Because we lack proper communication. We want to fight it out. We want to argue it out. We want to talk about each other it out. And we have to get away from that. And the only way we're going to change generation curse is by communicating and loving properly and proper professional therapy. I'm going to say it out there.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of us don't have a cousin or auntie or mother or grandmother to look at a positive avenue out of life for. So you have to look at it at TV and daydream about it, or you have to look through it through maybe your classmate or your neighbors. You know, proper communication is everything.
Well, communication gets hard. The biggest part about having communication, especially with a family member, is
don't nobody want to have a hard conversation.
Nobody wants to have a hard conversation, and nobody wants to be accountable. Nobody wants to say, you know what, actually, I was wrong. Like, I actually could have handled that situation better. But it's so much easier to just project, and it's so much easier to say, oh, that's just Keisha, or that's just what she do, or that's just what he do. I think, and that's I think absolutely wrong.
The reason why some people have those attitudes because they don't know the proper form of communication. They don't know the proper way or the proper steps to say, let's handle this properly so we can get through it, and we can overcome it and grow it. You know, a lot of people are raised and seen off trauma, arguing, so that is more easier. And they, even though they know it's wrong and it's not the proper way, but they don't know where to start to go the other way, and that may look like a sucker to them. That may look soft to them. That may look like, oh, you know, something like that, because it's different. Yeah. So I feel like everything, and you know, when I was growing up, everybody used to say everything starts with home. It does. It does. So if you see your environment and your household handling things in a positive way, you're going to, 9 out of 10, you're going to know how to handle things in a positive way too. Now we all can go there, and you know, we all have our flip side. That's normal. But when it come down to taking care of business and growing and loving and setting an example, we need to know how to do that more than anything. That's so important. We need to know how to do that. We need to teach that to our children. And
it definitely starts at home. It definitely starts at home. I mean, I think about my childhood, and like I said, very blessed to have the parents that I have, and the childhood that I can say, did I go through some things? Yes. Was it traumatic? Was it traumatic where I had to sit on somebody's couch about it? No. Do I believe in therapy just as a well-rounded adult? Yes. But, you know, even think about my parents been together for 40 years. There was definitely some times in the household where they cussed each other out.
Absolutely.
Like, cussed each other down to the ground. And me and my sister was just... Yeah. This was just a normal, this was just a normal Saturday, Sunday. Like, that's really how I learned how to cuss somebody out. Yeah. From hearing my parents.
Yeah, I think, I think we all pick up these good and bad habits from our parents. And, sometimes we need to use them in our life sometimes.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, but it also, like you said, when I became grown and really had time to think about it and talk through this out in therapy, it was like, dang, you know what? I don't want that. Like, I don't want that part of a relationship. Even if we're not seeing eye to eye, and even if we have to have a tough conversation, we can do that in a clean way. Absolutely. To where I'm not degrading you, and after the argument is over, I done called you everything up underneath the sun.
Absolutely.
And I don't want my kids to see that. Like, I don't want Mateo to see that type of environment.
Absolutely. That's very important. A lot of us as adults, we understand, and sometimes we don't understand, why do we carry these negative habits into our relationship and to our parenting, not only our relationship, and to our parents. It's because of, maybe that's how it was done, or that's how my parent handled that for me, or my grandmother, whoever was raised, handled it for you. And anything that was done the way I was done growing up, I reverse it. Everything is reverse.
Uno reverse.
We live in a different day of aging now.
Is there anything that was done in your childhood that you do hold to your heart?
Absolutely. I can say my favorite part about my family and what is brought upon myself about my family is our traditions, how we get together. When Easter come, we dye eggs. When Christmas come, we do stockings. That was our time that, as I get older, I can remember. I can remember those happy moments when the holiday come. And when the holiday come for my kids, I go all out. Yeah. Because of that. And I be looking at next people like, oh my God, I have to, because it's like that it's the positive that I remember in my childhood that actually was like, even no matter if I try to black it out, that's gonna always stay in my head. You know, special moments.
But I feel like you and your family, even just not your immediate family, but I feel like even your extended family, and it goes back to like what we said earlier, that there can be some dysfunction, but when it's an event, y'all all show up though.
See, that's
like regardless of
yes.
what cousin is this mad at this cousin, or what happened, or whatever has transpired. If y'all have something going on, all of y'all are pulling up.
Yes, see, that's one thing about my family. It's a curse, and it can get confusing too. Because it'd be like, you can be going through some devastating things, and not one person that came and checked on you, not one family member that popped up and said anything. But as soon as something, I can say personally for me, goes with my business, or I need support, or I need this, my family come through like roaches.
They come there, not roaches.
Yes, because I got like over 200 and something cousins. So I'd be kind of confused, like, I ain't heard from this person in 3 years. But then I have an event and then they pop up, and I just be so happy just to see them. And it just get kind of confusing. Like, I wish this wasn't just a sometime things. I wish this was a consistent pattern of this, you know. And it's just so sad. I have cousins that I don't even speak to, and I'm like, dang, just 25 years ago, 30 years ago, we was taking baths together.
Well, we was kids. Yeah.
Like,
so, and a lot of that is, and a lot of that was our parents. See, we have to remember, a lot of that was our parents doing that and putting us together and keeping us together. But now our parents are older. Same thing with traditions. We think about all the stuff that our family would do around the holiday time. Those were all the things that our family and our parents and our aunts and our uncles put together. And now it's on us essentially to put it together and keep it together.
Yes.
But again, if we not rocking, if we not rocking, and I don't like how you living your life, and I don't like how you talk to my kid, or I don't like it. Like, I'm not that cousin that's just gonna invite you for the sake of you family.
Yeah. Like,
no, like, you're not coming. We could talk about it, but you're not coming.
I think those days should be over for anybody. Like, just because you are family, you are not automatically entitled to my life.
Do your family make you feel guilty if you do that?
It depends on who you is. You know, because, you know, when it comes to my household, I'm very private with my household. So I have cousins that I will go hang out with, but guess what? They don't come to my house and chill. Not because I say don't come to my house, but we're just not on that level.
Yes.
You know, so I do feel guilty sometimes. Like, dang, I wish I can, you know, instead of us going out, you come over here. But sometimes you just never know with people, because family, that's one thing about family. A lot of people feel like, oh, they can do wrong to family and say, oh, it's family, they'll forgive me and there's no consequences. And that can be scary.
Absolutely.
You know, especially when you invite them in your space. So as much as I love family and I love my family, that's when I'm cautious, my most cautious ever in life.
Well, you have to be.
You know, I can say this to say this, that I don't want to beef with family. That's some scary shit. Your family member, because you can beef with your family member, your cousin be at the picnic, she come up and blow your head off. Nobody gonna be thinking of it. Now, a stranger, your guard is gonna be down. You're gonna be just, you know what I'm saying? Your family member, your guard is gonna be down. A stranger, you're gonna be on your cozy too. That's why I don't want to beef with family. It's too close. I'm thinking you giving me a hug, you got a knife stabbing me in the back. Oh my gosh. I mean, it can really go there with family.
Absolutely. It could.
You know, so that's why anybody that I'm iffy about, whether it's family or not, if I feel any kind of hate in my heart, I would have to cut you off with a smile. And I have no problem with cutting family off with a smile. I can't say, oh, this will never be my cousin again, because you will probably be my cousin. You will still probably be my uncle. You will probably still be my cousin. I can't change the family tree, but I can change how you enter my life and how I enter yours.
Well, like you said, it's like you can't unfamily. You can't sever the bloodline.
Yeah.
But what people fail to forget at times is that your family member is still a person, and they're still a human being. And at the end of the day, us being related by blood does not supersede the fact that you're just a shitty person, or that I can't trust you. Like, you don't get no more clout or any more weight from me just because we're related by blood.
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
And I feel like that is very important is boundaries. I just don't have boundaries with friends and relationships. I have boundaries with family members too, because it could get real tricky, because these are the people that you done played in the sand with. These are the people that you done probably just had a ball with your whole life in your younger dark years. So it gets kind of, as you get to become an adult, things get a little tricky, because everyone lived different. Everyone lived them their ways. This may have been your favorite cousin when you was 10, but now that you're 40, this person can hate your guts.
Absolutely.
And you have no clue, or maybe you do have a clue and you have ignored it, because it's like,
I think you ignore it. I think you ignore it because it's like, this is my cousin. Or
absolutely.
You ignore it.
Or this is my mother. Or this is my father.
Or
yeah,
it really doesn't matter. You just ignore it, but you really feel how you feel, and the energy is never going to lie. The energy is always going to be
Let
there.
me ask you a question. Do you feel like family should have access to your time, your money, your resource, just because they family?
I think it's no different from a friendship, right? If I have the time and I have the availability to want to make time for my family, I am gonna do that. I am gonna do that. When it comes to money, money is very tricky in family.
It is.
Money is very tricky, because the elephant in the room is, in almost every family, especially Black families that have a little bit of money or have made it to a certain level, we know, like, you know what family, to a certain extent, right? As much as you try to hide it, or as much as you try not to talk about it, people talk. So we know, like, okay, which cousins maybe got it or what don't. Like, we can make an assessment to say what somebody may or may not have. And I think if you have it, your family knows that, and they will come to you expecting, well, you have it, so why not? Why wouldn't you help me out?
Yes.
You have it, so why wouldn't you bail me out, and why wouldn't you be here for me?
Absolutely.
And I think to a certain extent we are guilted into those situations, because nobody wants to see any kin to them completely effed up. But there has to be a line drawn in the sand.
Absolutely. I think that we all have those family members that fall on hard times sometimes, and they need a little help a moment, and they got you right back once they get themselves together, or, you know, y'all sort that out whatever way y'all want to. Then we have those family members that use their money on what they want to, and then when something important come up, or when they do have an emergency, they didn't save or plan to take care of that, and that's like almost every week. And it becomes, you know, for me, I have family members that I wouldn't give a quarter to, and I have family members that I would give my last quarter to, you know, but it becomes overbearing and too much when you just keep calling for the quarter. It's like, dang.
Yeah.
Then when you get your quarter, you don't say, I got 5 cents. You don't say, you know, I may not got that, but here go
10 cents back.
Here go this.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people that does that, they doesn't recognize it, because that's their only role. Their role is to never give back. Their role is to never say, you know what, here you go, or I appreciate you. And I feel like that is very sad, because when anything that I do is coming from the heart, but I feel unappreciated. For one,
it can be abused.
When it can be abused when it's always the same thing.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, and then I really feel unappreciated when, you know, I do come through for you, and then when I go through something, or you see me going through something, it's never, hey, how you doing?
You know what's crazy, my friend? Like, you know, out of all the years, out of all the years that we've been friends, I have never asked you for money.
Yeah.
I've never, like, let's just think about that for a second. Is that wild? Like, I've never asked you've never asked me for money. I have never literally been like, okay, and not that anything's wrong with that, but over, 30, close to 30
And you know
years,
what? And it goes to say to what I was going to say next is that, like you said, we've been friends for 30 years, and if it ever came a time that she needed anything, I would empty out my bank account for her. That and
Likewise.
that's that on that.
Yes.
But it goes to show that I would do the same thing for a family member.
Yeah.
And they'll look at me like, where's the rest of it at? Or when the answer is no, then it's trauma. It's you hate me. It's, oh my God, I want you to die. And I think that's wild.
That's crazy.
And it goes back to say that this is my question when, everyone has toxic family members. And someone asks me, well, how you know if a family member is toxic? Let me tell you how you know. You ask yourself this question. If this person wasn't my uncle, would I still deal with this person? And if the answer is no, that's a toxic family member.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, you wouldn't have no association with them.
You wouldn't have no association with that person. That means you are tolerating that person because of family. And we, as family, some of us, we say, well, you know what? This is my uncle. This is my brother. This is my sister. So we let things go and we let things slide. But that also caused pain and hurt too.
Absolutely.
So I think that is crazy. Out of 30 years, we never asked each other for that. But we will empty it out.
No. If it was needed.
And that it's no bad ill. It's no bad ill. I'm not mad at her. It's not this. I'm not that. And I feel like a lot of family relationships are based on what can you give me.
Absolutely.
And that's all it's based on. What can you give me? What can you do for me?
Yeah.
I said people use their family more than they use their spouse.
Absolutely. Because when even with, I think to a certain extent, even with your spouse versus your family member, if we're thinking about a cousin or a mom or a parent, you have a certain level of comfort with them. Because you've known them for your whole life. Typically, your spouse comes in later in the game.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people would much rather go to a family member and disclose what's going on than rather them go to their actual spouse. And I look at money the same way my parents do me and my sister. Like, my parents were very clear, like, listen.
Yeah.
We will be here y'all got to stand on your own 2 feet, right? But in the event something traumatic happens or you down and out, we do have you, we got you. But that's only if you doing some positive shit. Like, if you are not, my parents made it clear, if you are out here wreaking havoc on the world, on other people, if we have to constantly bail you out of some shit, no.
You're not a responsible adult.
If you're not a responsible adult, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think parents have a favorite child?
Yes.
And
I hate to say it like that, but
nobody wants to say it. I mean, you can say it. You have one child.
I have one child, but
I have one child.
I have one child, but I would say,
but you are of a parent of two.
If I was hypothetically a parent of two, I think that each child, just like each person that you were in a romantic relationship with had a different version of Nikki.
Absolutely.
No man got the same version of you. So it would be crazy to think that even in a parental loving relationship, if you have two children aren't even getting the same version of their mother. And
that's why I say, and I know a lot of parents don't want to say it, but I have 2 sons, and I can say it's not that I have a favorite, but I do have one that I bond with more because of where I'm at. I met in life. They're 11 years apart. You know what I'm saying? So I may be connected to one, but I can say this: I love them both equally. And favorite don't mean, oh, I love this person more. Absolutely not. I love them both equally, but when I had one, this was a different version of myself. When I had this one, this is a different version of myself. So there are 2 different personalities, and I love that about it.
And then you have parents. I've had clients say to me multiple times, they had one kid. They waited 5, 6, 7 years. That first kid was amazing. First kid grew up to be great. They had that second baby, and that second baby has been the bane of their existence.
Yeah.
Like, literally was like, I was so good when I had my first child. My first child grew up to be this amazing person, but that second kid is putting me through the ringer.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that we have to talk about too when it comes to family. At what point as a mother, right? When I think about my son getting older, at some point the umbilical cord, it's already cut. Absolutely. Right? But it's going to be an extension of that where he has to stand on his own two feet. And it's like, no, you have to figure that out, son. Like, I'm not going to always be here to be your parachute.
And I feel like that's the great thing about parents that actually parent for real. Because what you should be parenting towards is parenting towards preparing your child to live on their own, to be able to make proper decisions without you. So I feel like if you do what you're supposed to do as a parent while they're younger and provide for them the things that they need, when they go older and it's time for them to make a decision and do what you want to, I feel like as a parent, you should be able to sleep at night. Now, if you didn't do what you were supposed to do and you didn't raise them and the streets and the internet helped you, then I wouldn't be able to sleep at night either. So I think that it starts there when they're younger, because that's what we're doing this for. Because as of right now, when they're younger, we have control.
Yeah.
And everyone is going to grow and make decisions that wow everyone. You know what I'm saying? You're going to say, I didn't raise you like that, because that's life. But overall, when we're talking about the overall person and your overall child and looking towards their future and them, and you imagining them, if you're doing what you're supposed to do now, no sweat my pat. That's how I feel.
No, I feel the same
we
way.
have to educate our children on how the peers, the internet, even us sometimes can be not not the best example sometimes, because we all are learning. I'm just gonna say we all are learning, even as parents. So I feel like as a parent, if your child can identify that, him or her would be fine. They just don't always need to identify the positive. They need to be able to identify the negative so then they can skirt and go the next way. So I feel like that's what we need to focus a lot on as a parent, is to say, you know what, we need to look at these abnormal things and know that this is not right and normal, and go the other way. Sometimes.
So what do you feel like, so we talk a lot, especially in the Black community, particularly about when our kids get a certain age. Okay, it's like, gotta go. You get a certain age, you gotta move out, you gotta get your own place. If you staying here with me, you gotta do X, Y, and Z. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like if you graduated from high school, you're on your way to college, you decide to say, you know what, I'm not gonna stay in a dorm, I'm gonna stay here with you, and you have a part-time job and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you can stay here until you get financially stable enough to go out on your own. That's how I feel. If you're not doing nothing and you're laid up in my basement, you're not in school, you're not working, guess what you have to do? You have to go to granny house.
Okay.
That's just that. You don't got to go on the street.
But you can't be here.
But you can't be here. So, again, even if you're my whoever, my son, you can't be mooching off me. You have to be doing something in life to make me say, you know what? I have no problem. I don't want your money. I want you to be able to succeed. I want you to have 10 and 5 leg up, because that's what happens in the other communities. You shouldn't never just push a child out without a plan. So until my child can get able to care for himself and able to provide for himself, that's when he leaves. Now, I would hope that would be before you're 25 years old, but you can never be laid up in my house, making babies, living in my basement, not paying me no rent, you on my cell phone line, you eating up my groceries, and that's okay. Absolutely not. No. So as long as you're doing something positive and you working towards a plan, you can stay with me forever. That's how I feel.
See, I feel like I am that mom. And I will say my son doesn't have a choice of whether he's going to college or not, right? And I, hands down, high school, boom, college. So it is my goal and purpose to continue to prepare him to make that transition.
Absolutely.
To be on that journey. With that being said, I do think it's different for boys a little bit. Do I see my son, like, for example, my son gets 15, 16, 17, he wants to have a car. We'll get you a car, right? Like, we'll plan to get you a car. But if you're working part-time, you will pay me something on the vehicle, even if I'm just taking that money and I'm putting it in an account for you. Because for me, it is showing what adult life is going to be. I'm not taking his money, and the money will still be his money. It'll be set up in an account for him, but it is showing him the responsibility of, I didn't just get this. And we already know that men value things anyway that they have to work for even better. So even if it's $100, if it's $50, there has to be something to show, here is my interest in it, and I'm putting some toward. They take care of it better. So yes, there will be conversations with my son to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, you're gonna have to pay something. Yeah.
You basically pay yourself, but I don't want your money, but I'm
gonna put it to the side.
Yeah, it teaches them responsibility if you go about it that way.
But I agree with you. Like, when he comes back, like, from college, or it's like, okay, you have that transition period before, I want my son to always know you can always come home. Not at 40 though. Like,
never at 40.
Let me be clear. You better have that shit figured out. You got till about 20, 26, 27, okay? But I want him to always know, like, home is home. Like, and I get that from my parents. I do. Mm-hmm. My parents have always made it clear, home is home. If there's ever a time where anything happens, y'all can always come back home. Mm-hmm. Always come back home, you know?
Yeah, that's very surprising, because not every parent feel that way. We have parents out here that's like, please don't pull up to my house. That's my daughter outside. She here. Lock the door.
Are you a horrible daughter? Or they say, I raised you for 18 years. I'm done.
I think it has nothing to do with the child. I think it has everything to do with the parent. Like a child sets how they're going to be. I think parents have in their brain how they want to be. Some parents say, look, they move off to another country, to another state. They don't want to be involved with their grandparent in their grandkids' life. They don't want to be there for you when you need somebody. They like, look, we did you, now we finna go do us. And I feel like nothing is wrong with that either. I feel like it's a choice that you make, because everyone don't want to be grandmother of the year. Everyone don't want to be mom of the year. Everyone don't want to be super auntie. And that's fine too. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's definitely a choice.
And so I think that it's a blessing when you do have those grandparents and those aunties and those uncles and those people, even people that's not related to you, that step up and say, you know what? Let me pour into you. You know,
and that's such a key point that you just made, the pouring into you and piecing. You're not going to always have a village when it comes to your immediate family. And a lot of what we have to do and remember is that it truly does take a village to raise a child. And it definitely takes a village of positive covering to ensure the generational curses and the generational trauma stops where it needs to stop, and it doesn't continue on to the next generation. Absolutely. And you need those people in your village, family or not, to say, I got you. Me personally, I am praying that my son makes it till he's well into his 30s, right? To get married, have kids, do all of that, so mama can be living her life. Like, I want to be out.
Well, I hope he don't wait till he in his
dangling. 30 is a perfect age to get married and have a kid. 30?
Ain't no girl waiting for him till he 30. That's gonna happen as soon as he goes to college. People, they owe him. It's like, no.
Lord Jesus.
That's what you say, that 30's absolutely
I think 30 is I think 30, but hypothetically, right?
No.
Mateo got his whole life ahead of him. Listen, I'm just going to say for the podcast sake, 30. Okay, so 30. So I got from now until he's 30 to be outside dangling and doing all my shit, because guess what? Like you said, when I become a grandma, I want that baby. And it's even worse for me. It's worse for us because we have sons. And the baby always go with the mama family. Yep. Like the mama of the son never gets first dibs on the baby.
Well, in some cases. It's very rare, but in some cases.
It's very rare.
It is very rare.
I want to be there.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to being a grandma.
And being like, okay, you guys want to go out? Okay, yeah, bring me the baby.
I want to be an on-hands grandmother.
Bring me the baby.
I want to be the grandmother that travel with my grandkids. I want to be the grandmother that got the room at the house for the grandkids.
Yeah.
I want to be the fun. I'm going to be the fun grandma.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I be hoping like, dang, I hope my sons get with someone who mama ain't no mama.
So you could
take that. I could take that
role. No, yeah, you could take that role. No, for real. It is a concern. It is
absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
It is a concern. So you would be okay if King had a baby now?
Absolutely not. I'm so proud of my son. My son is going to be 20 in September. I had him when I was 19 years old. I'm proud that he made it past what I did. I'm going to be honest. Right now, if King came to me and was like, Mom, you know, I'm finna become a father, I'll probably pass out.
Okay, but you don't want him to wait till
30. He's not ready. I don't want him to wait till 40. I don't want him to wait till 30. 30? Absolutely not.
30?
No.
That's too old?
That for your first child?
Yes.
Okay. I feel 30? You know what? You're talking to someone that had a baby at 19, then had one again at 31 years old. So, you know, I can say that, you know, it was fun having a baby younger. Growing with my baby, you know what I'm saying? Not being too much of the mama I am, not say, yo, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of, my patience was a little bit more. And I can say, you know, financial rise and being stable and stability, yes. But when we thinking about it and we're planning it, yes. But when things happen, I just pray that my son is mature enough and know that regardless if it happened when he's 20, 19, or 30, you got to do what you got to do to take care of that baby. Because age doesn't make it better. An age just doesn't make it better. What makes it better is the type of man you are. Because a 19-year-old that know they got to take care of their family, they going to be 30 real quick. Because you have to take care of your child. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
You know, and I also, well, you know, of course I want him to live his life, but things happens in the way these girls is now. Ain't nobody, these girls ain't wait to the 30. It's not so much of him. And I hate this, I can say that as a woman, it's not so much of a man choice. You know, you go to college, you meet somebody, your son doing his thing, finna get drafted by the baseball team, and not actually pregnant.
Not Ashley pregnant. It's gonna be an Ashley.
And what can we do?
There's absolutely nothing. There's absolutely nothing we can do.
And I'm just trying to have fun. That's it.
My grandma years, I feel would be much better. You go if the baby come later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we are daydreaming. Of course, that's what we gonna do.
If the baby comes, I mean, either way, we gonna figure it out. But it's like, let's.
These girls is too aggressive for that, though. You know, right now they claiming right now at 8 and 9 and 10. They putting a stamp on it. They claiming the kids at 8 and 9 and 10. The girls, the little babies, they are aggressive already.
Mateo got 2 twin girls at his summer camp.
That part.
Fighting over them right now.
That's it. You know, and that's just the beginning. This is only the beginning. So let me ask you a question. How do you feel about parents relying on their children financially?
I think that's a tough situation to be in. I really do. I think that's a very tough situation to be in. And it's I can speak on it because I can put myself in someone's shoes and imagine how that would feel to have to then support my parents, because on one end it's like, okay, my parents supported me to an extent growing up as a child and did certain things for me. So in return, you want to do that for your parents, but it's different ways to show appreciation and respect to your parents for raising you versus them depending on you financially. And I think that's a very tough situation to be in. And I know a lot of people that are in that situation, and it's stressful because they literally depend on their monthly income coming from a portion of that coming from you.
Yeah.
And they feel entitled to it.
Yeah, I feel like as a parent, you know, most of our parents are 20 to 30 years older than us. I feel like you had 30 to 20 more years more than me to do what you had to do to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that when this time came
Yes.
right now,
Yeah.
that you was set.
Yeah.
And you didn't do that. Now, of course, we're not
Yeah.
about to go out to eat when everybody is ordering steaks and you ordering a hamburger.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. But should you feel like I should feel obligated to help you or to do this or to do that? And everybody fall behind by the grace of
Mhm.
God. You know, it's going to happen in our life sometimes, you know, and that's just that. But to sit there and rely, and you got 2 feet, 2 arms, and you're able, then you can go get a job. You can go be. I see people bagging at Walmart, you know,
Well,
that's in their
yes.
age. Yeah, but see,
But-
this is. I say this to say that if you didn't, this is what I'm teaching my child now. If you don't do what you're supposed to do now, you will be doing that same job at 60.
Mm-hmm.
So don't people at Walmart and at the movie theaters that's 70, 80 is not there because they want to be there. They're there because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They should be showing their family some services by not coming in and getting in their pockets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if I'm in my mid 30s and 40s and I'm preparing myself for my life and my savings and my retirement,
Mm-hmm.
I may not have nothing extra for you.
Well, the thing about it is, I personally, I think that way. I think about
and it's not about
growing up
having it.
enough.
It's about like sacrificing it. Because
Mhm.
in those years when you were my age and you were working, that means you didn't sacrifice.
They didn't sacrifice for themselves.
They didn't sacrifice for themselves, and that's the problem right there.
Mm-hmm. Or they just didn't make good decisions.
And that right there too. And I feel like
there's also a whole subset of parents, right? Like myself, okay, soon to be 40. A lot of my thought process of my second half of my life is making enough and having enough money to where I could take care of myself. I'm not going to be a burden to my child financially. That is a big part of how I move and how I plan and
that's
what I
how
do.
I always feel.
But there's a whole subset of parents whose retirement plan is their children. You know that, right?
Yes.
Like their whole setup to say, I know when I get 60 and 70, I'm going to count on my children. It's now their turn to take care of me.
And you know what? And I do, and I'm going to say this. If you have parents that have always been there for you, that have all put you through college, that have never seen you and watch back and watch you struggle with anything, I don't feel like you're obligated, but I do feel like if you can and if you are able, then you should help.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was a struggle and you was the type of child that had to get it out the mud and you had to figure ways out for yourself, I think that it's natural for it to be a hesitant to say, hold on now. Because what happens is not because you're mean, because your whole life you was on survival mode, even with a mother, even with a father, even with family, you was still on survival mode. So when you get to a point in your life where you're not on that mode no more, you kind of snatch back and say, hold on now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you was in there shooting in the gym with me and, you know, we went through things together then,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
Of course, that goes with anybody. We split the sandwich in half. You know, that's just how that go. But
Yeah.
not just because you're my mother. Not just because you're my father. Not just because you're my auntie. Absolutely not. You know,
I think when you grow up in that environment, it definitely makes it very hard for you to want
It
to
does.
do anything because it takes you right back to your childhood. And especially when you're a parent yourself too, going through that, and you're making the sacrifices for your kid, and you think like, damn, I don't remember feeling this from my parents. The things that I'm
Absolutely.
doing now with my kid,
Mhm.
I don't remember having that same feeling when I was a kid, and it makes it very hard to want to do anything. I think that's one of the reasons why even me and my sister do a lot for our parents is because of the fact that we don't have to worry about them relying on us financially. They rely on us emotionally.
absolutely.
And that's a lot too. I mean, both
Listen.
that's a lot too.
Woo.
Raising your parents, that term is just it hits close to home
Raising
now
your
because
parents
listen,
is crazy
crazy.
than raising your kids.
it's crazy. So even though we don't have that stress, we do have an emotional stress because, you know, my parents, they done got into their 60s, pushing 70s, child, and they are something else. Love them, but
Yes.
dealing with them emotionally.
I think
It's a lot.
parents, as I get older, I appreciate my parents more than I ever did. And now that I'm a parent and my children are growing, it really makes me appreciate them because I do understand now that I get older that no parent is perfect. You know,
No.
parenting,
No.
it's not a manuscript to this. So, you know,
Mhm.
they're going to make mistakes. And I'm just happy and blessed that God
Mhm.
have gave me the strength to, you know what I'm saying, wipe out my heart for love and positive things to come in, you know, regardless of a situation of how I feel. If I didn't come from the best or the healthiest household or a 2-parent household, I am blessed and I am happy and grateful that it didn't interrupt my spirit.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
And I think
really
that
is.
a lot of people sit up there and as they get older, they blame their childhood trauma and they blame their parents and how they brought up and what they didn't have. And it's all like, I get that. Everyone have a story. Nobody is perfect. Nobody grew up with all roses. Well, some people did, but it's other aspects in life that they was filled in. And I think the best part about the situation is that I ask myself everything every day. If I didn't go through those things, if I wasn't in those predicaments, would I be the woman I am today? And I sit back and I really analyze myself and I say, you know what? When I build myself and I grow off of pressure. I grow off of what people didn't think I could have became. I grow off of my potential that I make myself happy. You know what I'm saying? Of dang, oh, I didn't accomplish this or I didn't did this or I didn't did that. I grow off of those things.
Yeah.
So I say to myself that in my younger days when I wasn't so much as healed, I would be mad, I would be angry. But now that I'm older and, you know, I done got the proper professional help and therapy and, you know, have positive people around me in my life, I can look back at those things and I can say, you know what? I killed that.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sad that I had to go through that. And I wouldn't, if I had a wine, would I redo it? Absolutely not. But guess what? I can look at myself and say, I went through it and it made me better.
Absolutely.
You know, and I'm not bringing those same habits to my family. I'm not encouraging the world or, you know what I'm saying, other women to be Debbie Downers or to be mad. Oh, just because you went through some shit. Okay, guess what? Everyone is going to go through things. Guess what you have to do? You have to overcome them.
You can't stay there.
You can't stay there.
You can't stay there.
And I think a lot of people use this family and how they grew up as excuses to be shitty people.
Yeah, they do.
You know?
And a lot of families bonds and trauma runs.
Trauma bond. Trauma bonding.
It runs so deep.
That's the whole thing.
It runs so deep, and people have an extremely hard time getting away from that and recognizing that that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Okay, yes. And I just want to say one thing. So when it comes to family, I just want to end it with this. You know, upsetting your family is not what destroys families. You know what I'm saying? Not being who that person look at you in their eyes and not being, you know what I'm saying, the best person that you could be is not what destroy families. What destroy families is communication.
Communication.
You know, so I can say this from Nikki B to y'all. The most important thing when you love someone, family, friend, especially your family, especially your children, be a good communicator. Communicate with them. Be able to have hard conversations with them. Be able to take accountability and tell them wrong or right, even when it's glistening. Be able to say, you know what? I know this look good right now. I know it may feel good to you right now, but guess what? You need to slow down. You need to do this. I see this can be going in the wrong path.
And don't let your kids take you to the grave either.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Like
don't even
don't let your kids.
Our parents don't let your grown adults don't let your grown adult kids take you to the grave either. Because of something that how they grew up or oh my God, you did this to me. You know what? My advice to anyone is go get professional help because they can't redo it. You can sit here and we can talk about it and we can relive it and we can go back and forth. But guess what? Go get healed. Because 9 out of 10, a person that's talking about what they parent did to them is doing it to their children. So while you sitting up here mad at mommy and daddy and uncle and grandma and sister, your own children mad at you. And that's what we need to focus on. So communication, loving, giving hugs that means something. Showing up for your kids. Going over and beyond for your kids. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, some people may say, oh, you over spoiled, you over did this. Okay, well, in my household, it's a good balance. Because my son daddy is like a military daddy. So it's a good balance.
Yeah, and they're only kids for this amount
they're
of
only
time,
kids for this
and they're
long.
adults for this amount
Absolutely.
of time.
So, you know, I think it's important that we communicate with our family. I think it's important that we know how to handle our family. We know how to deal with our family. I think it's important that we don't expect too much from our family because that's how our feelings get hurt.
You have to treat your family relationship just like any other relationship at the end of the day. Just like you have boundaries in place for who you talk to, who you go out with, who you love is no different from your family. And lastly, family or not, if they're toxic for your mental health, if they're toxic for your emotional health, you have to be able to distance yourself from them.
Absolutely.
Right?
Love them from a distance.
You can love them from a distance, and I think it's absolutely crazy because it's hard for me to envision not talking to like my mom, my dad, my sister. But in the event, hypothetically, they did that much trauma to where I had to, I would definitely
I think
do
it's
it.
okay to take breaks from people that you love.
Yeah, so
nothing is wrong with that. I feel like that's what anybody should do for your own peace, regardless of what relationship they is, especially your family, because it's easy for them to open the door quicker than anyone when you're even trying to shut them out.
Absolutely.
You know, so I feel like it's important for anyone, for your own peace, to say, you know what, I got a 10-day break from you. I need a weekend from you. And nothing is wrong with that. And when I come back, it shouldn't be a trauma. It shouldn't be, oh my God, we into it, we finna fight. It should be, you know, did you get your break that you needed? That's good. Now let's start over and pick up and refresh ourselves and keep it moving. But again, those are going to be taught with healthy communication tactics and
knowing that blood is not thicker.
Absolutely.
Than water.
Blood is not thicker than water. Not in real life. It's not
in real life.
Not in real life. You
not
know.
In reality.
But I will say this: if you do have a family that has taught you love, that has taught you values, if you do have a family that has been there for you, then you may argue that. You know, you may say, well, you know what? Blood is thicker than water. And I'm not going to argue that back with you, because one thing about an individual family is that everyone's going to have their own experience and their own opinion of it. I can come from the same family as the next person, and my story could be totally different than that person's story, but we all talk about the same family members here.
Absolutely.
So I feel that based on who you're talking to, what they've been through in life, they experience, they may answer that different.
It's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same.
And I think that's a good thing that's the best thing about family. Nobody family is the same.
No, ma'am.
You know?
Not at all.
And that's what makes it a beautiful thing.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So until next time.
Yes.
Nikki B.
Yes, Nikki B, Kendra J.
You forgot?
I almost forgot for a second.
Kendra J.
I almost forgot.
We'll be back.
Bye.
Okay.
I feel like that was pretty good.
Me too.
Yeah. Girl, my mom been so, are you about to blast me on there? I'm like, girl, no. Are you about to sit there and, I'm like, Mom, I'm about to sit here and not even say your name for real.
She was worried.
Like, I'm going to say stuff, but I'm not going to say stuff. I'm not going to sit up there and bring a